me, Weezy, and I am joined with Dan Byrne. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. We're really excited to have this interview with you. So, Dan, why don't you start off by telling us, see if there's a fan, well, actually, no, there wouldn't be a fan. If there was somebody that doesn't have a clue about who you are or your music,
Sure.
what song of yours would you tell them that they have to listen to first?
Okay, I think I would have to say I put out an EP roughly about 3 years ago now, and the very first song that I kind of wrote for this project, but also that I ever released, is a song called Death of Me. And I feel like that is probably the best representation of where I wanted to go with this whole solo project, just because I didn't want it to be purely classic rock like a lot of my work had been in the past with different bands and projects, and I wanted to kind of branch out and do something a bit more modern, but with an old school feel to it. And I think that was the best representation of that kind of idea, I think.
Nice. And we will talk about your EP, but you have a new album coming out.
I do.
What does that album represent to you?
Well, firstly, it's been a long time coming, so a lot of pressure. It represents a lot of pressure. I knew going into this, we signed a record deal not too long ago with a fantastic label called Frontiers.
Nice.
And they've been absolutely incredible in seeing the vision that I wanted to go with for, my solo project, but also my first album. And my whole kind of plan going into this was, I really want to bring kind of like old school voice for the blues, Paul Rodgers, David Coverdale style of music, but also bring that crashing into the modern day with a bit more of edge and modern rock. And I think on the album, it kind of represents not just rock, because when I go home, I don't just listen to rock, I listen to everything. So there's some things that are slightly countryish, some things that are more blues or ballady. But overall, I think I wanted my voice to tie together a lot of the different things that I listen to and basically culminate that into one album, which is basically saying, here I am Dan, and this is kind of the way in which I want to start this whole career.
Nice. So how does the new album differ from the EP beginnings?
I think, well, with the EP, it was the complete unknown, because I came from, different bands and projects, and I never really had my stamp on, what I wanted to put into the world. And I wanted to write 4 songs, and they were all quite different from each other. They weren't necessarily all the same kind of realm. And I think with that, again, similar to the album, I wanted to showcase, basically, this is what I can do, because I've never really had the chance to just go, I'm all out alt rock, or I can do like a big ballad, or I can, and those 4 songs were deeply personal, which on the new album there's a lot more wordplay, and I'm messing around with songs more than just like diary entries, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But the EP definitely felt like a diary entry of its time, and I'm still very, very proud of those songs.
Yeah. And with the new album, if you can tell us, have you got like a favourite track off of that?
It changes daily. It's funny because obviously it's been a long time since I released new music, so every time we release something else into the world, people start commenting on it and sharing it, and then you start listening to one song more than the other, and you go, oh, actually, I remember when I wrote this, and I quite like it. There is one song that closes the album called Home, which I believe might be an exclusive, but I think it's going to be the next single that we're going to put out there, and that for me is the emotional point of the whole album. There's a reason that we put it last, because it's almost like a 30 Seconds to Mars meets, it's very grand and but that one for me, out of all of the songs on there, is deeply personal. I think that is probably the one that I would encourage people to try and listen to and understand. I think.
Oh, cool. And so you've been a musician for quite some time,
Yes.
And a few years ago, back in 2023, you made that decision to pursue your solo career.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What was the thing that made you just take the leap? What pushed you to just think, this is it?
It's a tough one. I think when you're in, and I have been in band dynamics for pretty much my entire music career, so you are dealing with personalities, you're dealing with other opinions, and when you start writing songs for yourself, with absolutely no kind of issue, but when you bring an idea to 4 other people and then they all have input on the idea,
Sure.
the idea isn't necessarily where it begun, and that's not a bad thing. And I'm so proud of all the work I did years ago, but I definitely thought I had a vision of what I wanted to do and go and achieve. And this has been a real kind of breath of fresh air. Like it's I have the most wonderful team and band around me, and everyone is so laid back, and they really, really make it easy for me to be able to do what I want to do. Yeah. And so when I come to them with a crazy idea, I go, I've got these songs. Do you reckon this would work? Or everybody makes it possible, and I think that is an environment that I've never really been in, and I'm so lucky that. I mean, obviously, I know the guys, and I've worked with the guys in the past as well, so I know the kind of people that they are, but I do feel very fortunate that, I don't know, there's a kind of weight off my shoulders. I feel like I can just be creative now, and then everything else will just make happen, and I'm blessed at the moment, to be honest. It's been really lovely. Yeah.
And when you were in Revival Black, is there something that you've learned from that chapter that you can now take forward as an artist?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
I try. I think there's loads. I mean, this was, looking at it, it was my first ever wander into the whole world of professional music and rock music especially. And I mean, the biggest thing I ever learned is just be a nice person and basically show interest and put yourself in positions to make your own luck, because I always try to be the nicest person I can, and a lot of the people that I know right now in the industry or in that I have met during my time in Revival Black, and you do realize after a while that, I mean, there's a joke, isn't it? The same people on the way up are the same people on the way out, and the thing is, it's like people are in this industry for a very, very long time, and you need to be professional. You need to be a good person, and if you turn up and you're thinking everything's a joke and you're making problems for people remember. Yeah. So there's a million things I've taken from the band, but I think one is that relationships matter, and you should try and be the best person that you could be for the sake of everybody. Yeah. But also, you want people to see you as a good person. You want to create those friendships because they are the people that will last your entire life if you're lucky, and so I think it's a case of emotional intelligence and being a good person.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like that. Okay, here's a fun question for you.
Okay.
So, do you have a useless skill that you are most proud of?
Loads. That's my entire personality. Oh God. I can turn my eyelids inside out. That's pretty ridiculous.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, it's a bit. Yeah, like I'm not going to do that, and that's completely useless. That's probably the best answer I'm going to give you right now.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, all it does is freak people out, and I haven't done it in years because I'm scared the wind will just change and I'll just be stuck like that forever. So yeah, probably that. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I like it. So let's talk about your sound, Dan.
Okay.
What artists or bands have sort of shaped and influenced your sound?
I think growing up, I grew up in a very musical household. Nobody played music, but I was definitely surrounded by it. The first thing I remember is Whitesnake, because that was always that. A lot of who I am and a lot of what I listen to is probably founded within the idea of having Whitesnake on in the house all of the time. So. I had the Live as Still the Night CD when I was younger, and I used to listen to that all the time. My first ever show, do you know the band Marillion?
No.
So it's a prog band, and the singer Fish is based in Haddington, which is not a million miles away from here. But I must have been 5 years old, and it's hardcore prog, and it's like a 3-day event. And they had a convention on in Haddington up north, and basically I was just in 3 days of prog rock, like in intensity, and I didn't remember much, but I did listen to some songs kind of because my dad used to listen to them and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was my first ever live experience. So it's an absolutely bizarre kind of collection of music. But yeah, my upbringing was AC/DC, Paul Rodgers,
nice.
David Coverdale, and then as I got older, and grew up in Skunk, Kerrang and Alter Bridge, Shinedown, like all those kind of
Love
bands.
it.
So that is very much me. So that's the whole classic meets contemporary thing that I'm going for, I think. But yeah.
I like it. And your music, you have this ability to blend power and vulnerability. Okay. So was that like a deliberate when you've been writing songs and things, or was it like a happy accident? Have you always thought I want to be vulnerable through my music?
Sure. I think I can't run away from the fact that I'm probably quite a sensitive or emotional person.
Sure.
So I think regardless of what I do, I can't pretend to go and be the biggest like rock and roll star and not care about anything, because I do. And as I mentioned, I listen to a lot of different stuff. So I'll listen to a lot of folk music at home. And it's primarily storytelling and or emotions, and that is a lot of music anyway. And I didn't drink for a very long time. There's a lot of elements where I feel like if I did the typical rock and roll songs, it would be inauthentic, because that's not me. And I do wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm quite proud of the fact I do. I've always been that kind of person. And if I want to be authentic to myself, I think I need to talk about those things, whether it's a play on words or whether it is genuinely just kind of like something from my life. And the power came from, I think, me when I was younger, just wanting, I was 13 playing Metallica covers, so trying to put that gruff voice on and, really scream and stuff. But as I've got older, I've realized there's value in other parts of music, and it doesn't have to just be the most aggressive thing you can do. And so I think the meeting of worlds there, especially very, very recently, because I think it's more of something as I've got older, I've realized that there's certain ways you should craft a song, and it's just playing with good musicians. And but I think all of that combined has kind of created this entire person of who I am now and how I deliver the music or the songs to people.
Yeah. And you've been described as the voice of a generation.
That's a big, yeah.
It's huge. So, do you feel pressure from that, or does that motivate you?
Every night.
Yeah.
Every night. I come from a place where in one of my old bands, I think I played 100 shows one year, and I threw up before all of them. I am not like this outwardly confident person. I definitely feel a pressure, and the only person I'm ever hard on is myself, really, because again, I'm in a very fortunate position where I don't have to think about the band because I know how good they are. And I know that they'll be absolutely amazing every night, so all I need to focus on is me. And especially when you get into these headline shows where it's X amount of nights in a row and you're playing for hours and hours, there's a level of self-care involved. So my entire focus each day is just, can I sing tonight? And that kind of defines every day during this tour. I'm aware that this is the third of 4 nights in a row, and then we've got 2 days off. We're in Blackpool tomorrow night, and obviously tonight we're in the Attic. So I'm really excited, but my mental state is very much just let me be the best person I can be tonight.
If there was a theme song for your life,
Oh, God.
what theme song would it be? What song?
Oh, I'd love to say it's something like Eye of the Tiger, just because it's so neat. But that is a great question, and not something I'm ever prepared for.
It's quite a difficult one.
I'm gonna have to absolutely just go for like "Here I Go Again" by Whitesnake or something. Just because of the music and the theme, but also because it's back on the road again. You're gigging again. It's all so yeah. I'll take that. Here we go again.
I like it. And talking about like gigs, you've obviously done a lot of gigs. You've played different venues, supported different people. Have you got a favourite memory of like a live show that you've done before?
I mean, yes. I think festivals hold a very special place in my heart, I think. Mainly because you're surrounded by so many people that you love, and also just so many people in attendance. I think 2 that really stand out for me is Steelhouse Festival last year.
Nice.
Because it just feels like a home away from home for me now. There's an ongoing joke because Bernie Marsden used to be up on the mountain every single year, and now I seem to be doing the same thing. I think I've been there the last 5 years in a row in some capacity. So that one for me is home. And also I was very fortunate with Mike Gray that I headlined Stone Dead Festival.
Brilliant.
And for me, that one was huge. That's one of the biggest crowds I've ever had in my life. Awesome. And it meant a lot. It meant a real lot.
That's awesome. And going back to your sort of creativity and your songwriting process, how do you know when like a song's finished?
I mean, I'm the worst.
Oh, are you?
I am the worst for writing. In fact, I at the point where, because a lot of people will think of an idea and they can't finish it, and they go, well, I'll bookmark that for later, and we'll come back to it in 6 months' time or something. If I don't like it, I just delete it.
Yeah.
And it's probably the worst habit, but I think the reason is that I just get stuck on an idea.
Yeah.
So if I can't see any value in the way it's going, I just go, no, and just gone. And then I'll start something new. And it's not necessarily the most efficient way of writing anything.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's being aware of how I operate, because I don't want to be sitting there for 6 months going, if I could only think of one more rhyme for that song, if we go. So for me, a clear head, and annoyingly, I also work very well to a deadline. My entire debut album, obviously, that we're talking about, I think I wrote in the space of 3 months.
Oh, wow.
I think there are ideas there that I had from a long time ago.
Sure.
But maybe like a chorus melody or something. It wasn't the whole song. And in the space of like January to March, I didn't see anyone. I was stuck in my office, and I just kept writing.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything you hear on the album was made in that time.
Amazing.
So it's amazing in a sense, but also I don't like the fact that I'm good on a deadline. So it's like putting pressure on myself, and it's but I'm super proud of it. I am.
Yeah. And has that changed then now that you're a solo artist on how you write, or?
Well, totally. Well, yes, because in the past, especially in Revival Black, myself and the guitarist would basically come together on a lot of ideas, and he might have a guitar riff, and then I'd put lyrics to it and stuff. Whereas by trade, I am a guitarist, so my introduction to music was guitar playing, and it took me a while to even start singing. It was only because we couldn't find a singer that I started to sing. So I in my skill set, I do have the ability to write songs, which is great. And sometimes it may take me a little bit longer to understand what I need to do, because I'm not actively playing all the time. And but I obviously welcome collaboration. I'm not a complete control freak, but I definitely have a very strong vision within the song when it comes to writing the song. So I do like the time on my own to go, this is how I want it.
Sure.
And the best thing is no one can tell me otherwise. It's like, this is, this is what I want. And very fortunately, the guys in the band, I can bring it to them and they'll have their input and everything else. But everybody's on the same page. So it's really, really lovely. Yeah.
And you said there, like you are open to collaboration. So if you were to have a collaboration with any artist, who would it be? You've mentioned loads of brilliant artists, it's going to be tough to pick a good one.
It depends if we're talking about writing, because I've got this vision at the moment. I'm going to put it out into the world anyway, that one of my latest singles called She's the Devil, I could just hear Glenn Hughes on it.
Nice.
So I'm trying to put the wheels in motion. And Glenn, if you're listening,
absolutely,
please. But
everyone tag Glenn.
I think he would sound absolutely incredible on it. But not only that, bands like Alter Bridge or Shinedown or someone, I would love to write a song with those guys, or Hailstorm or something like that. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I welcome any and all collaboration.
And what's the goals for the future?
From when I was very young, I always said, as long as I can make a living in music, I'm happy. Yeah. Obviously, as you get older and the music starts doing better, you want more and more. But realistically, I'm so proud of where I am right now. Yeah. I mean, we booked this tour 6 months ago, maybe, and I had 5 songs out, and I didn't know what was going to happen. Last time, I was laughing at this last night, because we were in Edinburgh last night. And last time I played Edinburgh, we sold 17 tickets. And then last night, it was a completely sold out Voodoo Room. So it's been a whole reality check this past year, I think. And this is my first time headlining Glasgow. Tonight's sold out as well.
Absolutely, congrats.
Thank you very much. So this is the thing. To see this growth and progress, I am so honoured. And I think, provided that we can keep making music that reaches people and people connect with it, that's all I could ever want as a musician. Mm-hmm.
Dan, it's been lovely to chat with you. I've got one more question for you. I ask this of everybody that I interview. Okay. So I go by the name Sunshine Weezy, because I like to spread a little bit of sunshine wherever I can, because the world can be a very dark place.
Absolutely.
So if you were to give people watching, an encouragement, a piece of advice, anything to sort of lift us up when we're feeling a bit down, what would it be?
I think just whatever it is you want to do, just keep trying. I started years and years and years ago doing this job, and it wasn't a job, and I wasn't very good, and I kept trying, and you'll hear people tear you down, and you'll hear rough comments online, whatever it is, and the day and age changes where, you know, the medium of whatever you're trying to do is, but it doesn't have to be music, whatever it is. Don't listen to anyone, because you have your own vision and your own voice, and that is the thing. That's a superpower. That's the thing that makes you you, and nobody else will ever see it from your point of view. So whether you're an artist, or whether you're a musician, or whether you're a builder, whatever it is, just keep slogging away, because you will make it. You absolutely will. Because I didn't know I could do this. And I can.
And now you're selling out Glasgow.
And now I'm selling out Glasgow.
Yeah, I love it. Oh,
no, thank you.
Thank you. It's been lovely to chat with you. Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
This episode is copyright The Moshville Times, introductory music by Elliot Alderman Broom, and any music used throughout the episode is copyright to the original performers and creators.